Come with me. I'm going to show you how California Paints brings color to life. I'm here today in the very busy offices of California Paints.
California Paints originally started as California Stucco Company in 1926. It was a franchisee for the company of the same name on the West Coast. As stucco sort of waned in favor and paint technology became more available, California Paints was born as the first division of California Products Corporation.
There's such a variety here. I know you guys have worked really hard to understand historical palettes. Where are those typically used?
Well, historic palettes really have no limits. Traditionally, people feel they're used on exteriors of historic homes, but really we're finding a lot of interior use for our historic palettes, namely our new 20th century palette. It spans color history, so to speak, from 1900 to 1985. Great for use interior, as well as unexpected trends that emerged through the 20s and 30s. We're seeing designers really zero in on those. We want color to be sellable and something that designers can use every day for their clients. What I always tell designers if I'm, working with a student chapter or I'm working with a seasoned designer is always look at the undertone of the color. Whenever I am looking at a color palette, I always have a blue chip, a red chip, a black chip, a yellow chip, the almost saturated primary colors to look against the color I'm choosing and make sure the undertone is right. We've had a lot of instances, I think every designer has, where you get a gray on the wall and it's casting a little purple when you really wanted it to have a green undertone. Looking at the undertone, I think, is the most critical option when you're looking to deliver a final end result.
Yeah, and maybe why it's so important to understand the primary and secondary colors to see where that comes through, it sounds like. And what about neutrals? How can you change the space by using neutrals?
You know what we're finding here at California Paints is the term neutral is expanding. There are certain colors of green, brown, gray that are considered neutrals now that never were before. So I think utilizing neutrals allows people these days to sort of push their color envelope while their customers or their clients are still hearing neutral, so it still sounds safe. But I think working with neutrals allows for a lot more flexibility than it ever has. And we sometimes have, designers call in and they'll say, Maryellen, I'm looking at this color. Would you consider it a neutral? And in most cases, yes, it is. But in some cases, they just want to be able to tell their client it's going to work. So we are an outside resource for those types of things as well.
So Luis, you're plant manager of California Paints. What does that mean?
I'm in charge of the overall operations in manufacturing and the filling. This is our manufacturing area. We have several vessels there, actually 20, that we use to manufacture latex products. And most of the additions for our manufacturing process are added via computer additions. And around you here, we have several tanks that hold our resins that are used to make these batches. So let's go see one in process right now.
Okay, great.
We have a couple of batches in process right now that we're just about ready to add the colorants to get the final color. One's a cobalt and the other one's an orange.
Great.
We're ready to add the orange, but I want you to see what the paint looks like before we add the colorants to it. Cobalt that we're making, it's pretty much ready right now for the cobalt. And this particular item only takes one colorant. Hawk is going to add that right now.
Gorgeous. Indigo. Yeah, cobalt blue. Beautiful.
Oh yeah.
Oh, you can see the green undertone in it too. Teal shades.
And this is more visually evident as to why we have to mix the colorants for 15 to 20 minutes.
Yeah.
Make sure that they're very well mixed.
Yeah. Beautiful.
Each formula has about 30 to 40 raw materials. And just imagine, usually they start with water. And every time you add a raw material, in essence, create an expected or desired chemical reaction. And you add the next X1, other chemical reactions. So you can have up to 40 chemical reactions in one formulation.
Wow.
That's the science of manufacturing.
Well, we appreciate your time that you took to give us a tour. Thank you so much.
My pleasure. Thank you.
Here's your assignment. Pull a room scene from your favorite design magazine. Associate color chips with that room's interior. And be prepared to talk about your palette in class. Remember, only you can pick your signature palette, so make it good.